Hello, everyone. I'm Golda,
And I'm Jamie.
and welcome to the J Gold Impact. Today, we would be taking a little trip back to the past and
Talking to you all about 5 things we wish we could tell our younger selves.
Yes. And we wanted to discuss this because, a lot of times we're standing in the present and we're like, daggone it, I wish I could go back and kind of give myself these little tips. So, Jamie and I have come up with 5 things. We each have 5 things that we wish we could go back and tell our younger selves. Okay, Jamie, go ahead. Tell your first one.
No, you go first.
Okay, I can definitely go first. Of course, I have a list. Okay? So, my first one is I wish I could tell my younger selves that not all my besties or my best friends are going to be there in the future. A lot of times we expend a lot of energy in friends and friendships. And sometimes we give too much of ourselves to our friends and too much energy. So I just wanted to assure everyone out there and wanted to go back and tell myself, my younger self, that is, hey, Golda, don't put so much energy into some of these friendships that you have because a lot of them has fizzed out in the future. So that's my first one. Jamie, go ahead.
That's a great one. And I'm going to glance down at my list.
Mm-hmm.
So, my first item that I wish I could tell my younger self is the decisions that you make today will affect your future self.
Well, that's a good one.
Meaning, if you want to be someone who runs half marathons or someone who's wellness focused, and you don't want to be someone who's drinking all the time, the small choices we make today will affect us for tomorrow.
Yes, that's a good one.
And I say that because I sometimes hear my friends saying, oh man, I want to be this type of person, but it's so hard to get there. But in fact, the key is to start being that person today.
Yes.
Adapt that mindset. Start living your life like that person you want to be, because the decisions you make today will affect who you are tomorrow.
Oh, that's a really good one. Okay, so my second one is skip some of the guys you've dated in the past, right? Because many of them will be toads in the future, right? So meaning that sometimes, we feel we have to date all these men and we have to give them our time, our energy and efforts. And a lot of the times they don't even fizz out. They're not even around. So skip some of these guys because many of them, when you look back and you tell your little past self, hey, that will be a toad in the future. So that's my second one.
Thanks for sharing that.
Yes.
Let's look at my second one. Okay, we have talked about this a little bit
Ooh.
in one of our previous episodes.
Mm-hmm.
But the second thing I wish I could tell my younger self is there is power in a pivot.
Oh, that's a good one, Jamie.
If you have decided on a college major that does not feel good for you, if you have decided on a job that does not feel aligned, it's okay to make a change and a transition. In fact, it's better and easier, in my opinion, to do it when you have fewer responsibilities compared to later on in life when you might be bogged down with a million different things.
That is true. That's a good one.
Yes. Do not be afraid of a pivot.
Yes, a pivot is very good. Okay. So my third one is, you can create the life that you want. Do not wait.
Definitely.
And this was a good one because when I looked back on my younger self, I had a lot of questions. I had a lot of doubt. I knew what I saw my future self being, but then it was, how do I get there? And a lot of the times, we listen to opinions from others. We take these advice and we do nothing with them. So my third takeaway to my younger self would be, you can create the life that you want. Start today. So that's my number 3.
Absolutely. I would totally agree.
Yes.
So my third point that I wish I could tell my younger self is to adapt a growth mindset.
Okay.
Meaning, if there's something that you want in this life, do not focus on the things that are getting in the way. Mm-hmm. Focus on the bigger picture. If there's a job that you want, if you don't feel qualified for something, do not let your doubts stop you. Dream big and put in the work, and you can get there.
Yes, it's very coincidental because that's sort of like to create the life that you want, right? So
Yes.
very much so. We're on par with each other, right?
Yes. And I think it's important to highlight this because, especially if you dream really big, sometimes it can feel overwhelming. And you say to yourself, oh man, how am I going to get there? I have all of these blockers in the way. And my point here is do not focus on the blockers. Stay focused on the things that will make you feel happiest, the end goal.
Yes.
Do not give up.
Yes, yes. And a lot of times, for our younger selves, and Jamie, to that point, when you're in your 20s and you're just starting out, it's very difficult sometimes to be able to navigate and see that because we have folks in our way. You're swimming through life like a big fish or a little guppy, right? And then here comes a shark or a whale and they throw you off your path. So Jamie's saying, say that again, Jen.
Do not give up on your dreams.
Yes,
I think I said that.
Yes, you can always refer back to your phone. Okay.
Stay focused on the bigger picture,
Yes.
bigger goals.
So my number fourth one is you don't need permissions from others.
No.
And I say that because, back when I was in my 20s and I started my job, my first or second job, it was always, what do you think about this with my friends? What do you think about that? And, they would be like, well, Goldie, this is fine, this is not fine. And all the while, I kind of knew what was fine and what wasn't fine, but I was waiting for permission from others. And that caused a lot of delays. Because it was like, and I guess we go back to, are you a giver or taker, that episode, right? People pleasing and things of such. But you really and truly, when you get older, you realize that person did not matter. I did not need their permission. But when you're young, you were looking for that permission. So I would go back to my younger self in my 20s or even younger. Hey, why not? And say, Golda, you don't need permission from others.
And it's a great point because if you're waiting for someone's permission, you might be waiting forever.
Yes. Whew, yes.
So if there's something, depending on who you ask. And so if there's something you really want to do, trust yourself and do it.
Yes. Yes. And okay, so what is your number 4?
Okay,
I cannot wait.
My fourth piece of advice I wish I could give to my younger self is you need fewer people than you think.
Ooh, that's a good one. Yes.
And I say this because sometimes when you're in your early 20s or younger, we're surrounded by a bunch of people.
Whew, I remember that time. I literally had tons of people around me. It was like the more friends I had, the more I felt validated, or the more I felt like, okay, I need people around me just to have a good time and live my life. So yes, I do get that.
Yes, but as time goes on, you realize quality matters over quantity.
Yes.
And while, yes, that might be a cliche, it is so true. Rather than giving your energy away to other people who might be takers,
yes, yes.
spend time with people who lift you up, who help you to feel good, who are there when it truly matters.
Oh, that's a good one. I like that one because, and that's the thing, because as you get older, people just start to fall off, by default. And it's not that you're a bad friend or you're a good friend or what have you, but you start to realize you cannot carry everything on your back. You cannot carry everyone. And then you realize, hey, I don't need 10 besties. I just need 2. So what? I get 2 besties and now life is good, So yeah, so that's a really good one, Jamie.
Yes.
Okay. So for my 5th and final one, and this is a good one because, it's like a testament to like setting up your future. And that is invest more in your 401k or retirement fund. And in your 401k or your retirement fund, once you designate a certain percentage to be taken out, that comes out before Uncle Sam takes it. So it's sort of like you're paying yourself before the government. So that's one of the things that I know now in my present, and I wish I'd known back then, because then I would have really invested more in my retirement accounts. So yes, so that's my 5th one.
So a follow-up question, because I always have questions.
Of course you do. Why not? This is the daughter. This is what she does. The questions, right? Go ahead.
Mom, what about the people who don't have a 401k option?
Well, you know what though? And that's a good one because not everyone is in a corporation, right? But at some point there are different retirement accounts that are out there. You can set up an IRA or a Roth IRA or something like that where you can actually invest in these ETFs, electronic funds, or you can invest in stocks and bonds and things like that. So you don't necessarily have to have like a corporate account per se where your company is investing in the 401k for you. You can do it for yourself.
Yes, thank you for sharing that.
Yes.
It's very important.
Right? Okay, what is your fifth one?
My fifth piece of advice I wish that I could give to my younger self is confidence comes from doing hard things.
Ooh, that's deep.
Yes, and here's why. Oftentimes, when we're faced with tough situations, at least I'll speak for myself, one of my automatic reactions is, how am I going to get through this? This is too tough. I don't know if I can handle it. I'm overwhelmed. However, over time, when you look at all of the hard situations you've been through, you say to yourself, wait a second, if I could go through that time, that situation, that environment, of course I can face this next challenge. And so look at all of the things you've gone through, younger Jamie.
Yes, younger Jamie.
They have all brought you to this current moment.
Yes.
And no matter what challenge is ahead, because you've gotten through so many in the past, you should have the confidence to know that you can and will continue to overcome.
And, we wanted to give our 5 things that we would love to go back in the past and tell our younger selves because, maybe someone's out there and these 5 things from myself and Jamie can shed a little light and make things easier for you in the future. Because, again, I say these things and we have this channel to support everyone out there and kind of give, from our experience.
Yes.
Correct? Yes. So if you like this suggestion, please give us a like, give us a comment, and hit the notification button because we'd love to hear from you.
And please subscribe to our channel if you've been enjoying our videos.
I know, because like I said, the mother and daughter combo, we say it all, right?
Yes, we get in the weeds. We just hold each other accountable. We ask each other questions.
Yes. So we'd love to hear from you. So until the next time, bye.